Evening for a Greer City Council meeting called and convened this evening, February the 13th, 2024. Having called the meeting to order, I would like to ask if you would to stand with us for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then I will offer a invocation for council.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, we are indeed grateful that we come here and assemble tonight to do the business of the city, and we thank you for the blessings that you have placed upon our lives and the call to service this great city. We ask that you remind us of all of the needs of all of the citizens of this city, that we'll be mindful of creating a city that seeks to provide opportunity for all of our citizens. We ask for insight and understanding and wisdom tonight as we deal with this agenda and other items, and I ask that you bless this meeting as we leave here and go our separate ways this evening. Amen. Amen. Ms. Duncan, do we have anybody to appear in public forum this evening?
No, sir.
Council, let's move then to the minutes from the council meeting. You have the minutes of the January 23rd meeting in your packet. I'll entertain a motion that they be received.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any items of note for the clerk regarding the council minutes? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Booker?
Yes.
Mr. Hopper?
Yes.
Mr. Dumas?
Yes.
Mr. Bettis?
Yes.
Ms. Albert? Yes. Mayor Danner?
Yes. Council, let's move to old business. We've got three items before us this evening in old business, the first of which is the second and final reading of ordinance number 4-2024. This is an ordinance to provide for the annexation of a portion of a certain property owned by Arena and Yaroslav Saryuk, located at 220 Pleasant Drive by 100% petition, and to establish a zoning classification of SN for said property. Any new or additional information this evening?
The Planning Commission held a public hearing for this item and they recommended approval.
Council, it comes with a recommendation from the Planning Commission and staff. I'll entertain a motion to receive second and final reading of ordinance number 4-2024.
So moved. Second.
Floor is open for discussion. Questions? Comments? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Booker?
Yes.
Mr. Hopper?
Yes.
Mr. Dumas?
Yes.
Mr. Bettis?
Yes.
Ms. Albert? Yes. Mayor Danner?
Yes. We have the second and final reading of ordinance number 5-2024. This is an ordinance amending Chapter 18 businesses 18 through 311 through Section 18-430 of the Greer City Code of Ordinances. Mr. Seifert joins us for that discussion. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I just wish to point out one minor change in Section 18-313 that was included in your packets Friday. Subsection or paragraph D, we have changed that to read, a background check will be performed by the city of Greer, and struck the language from the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, SLED, no more than 30 days old, must be provided to the city of Greer from each person making application as a peddler. The background check is to be provided by the sponsor business or peddler at its own cost. That is the language we have struck and added, that the background check will be performed by the city of Greer staff.
Thank you, sir. For the purpose of discussion, now I'll entertain a motion to receive.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Floor is open for discussion. There, Mr. Seifert, we struck section 18-314, which is in regards to the permits.
It was rewritten down below it to 18.314 rules and regulations.
Okay, well,
Items,
I
A
guess
through
my
10.
question was, what we struck said that we would provide what's it say? An identification card would be provided to each person soliciting.
That is the old language, correct?
This just says that they must wear an ID badge, so it could be provided by whoever they work for, or?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, that's fine. That's all, the only question I had. Others?
Concerning the background check information, I received a few calls about this past week on the background check concerns, especially of some of the existing, not for the peddlers, but for the next item that's coming up. What's the advantage, or is there any advantage there by the city of Greer doing instead of the sled one? What's the difference?
Well, in this one in particular, this one is for peddlers. And peddlers in general, for the ones that work here in the city of Greer, are generally outside of the state. So a sled check done in South Carolina by South Carolina won't do any good for people outside the state, for individuals and businesses that are from outside the state of South Carolina. And then in conversations that our staff had with Human Resources, there is no way for us to guarantee that document in and of itself may be forged or more than 30 days old, other than the date that's could be printed on the form as it comes off the printer. So those are the main reasons we switched it to. We would perform the check and it would be immediate, or within the time frame of the application.
Do we have the resources to check out-of-state people?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Seifert, it's been several years since I was involved on the HR end of things, but I know when I was doing that for the bank, a sled check only identified if there was a record, not what the record was. Is our check able to bore down to the point that we can actually identify some of these things that we've listed, or is it just a yes or no that one of those is drawn a hit?
Staff is telling me yes, sir, that it will identify some of these things.
Oh, okay.
I guess that my main question is, have we had problems with peddlers being felonious, or have we had a problem?
We have complaints and issues, but not necessarily on the legal side that we are aware of. We've never done background checks before, so we don't know. But we haven't had complaints of such.
So, other complaints,
Yes.
such as?
The general nuisance complaints, most of them come at this point from solar companies. The reports are,
What?
So I'm sorry?
From
Solar.
Solar panel companies, where they are coming in and they're pretty forward and aggressive and in dealing with the homeowners. And
That's not even what I'm thinking about. That's not what I consider peddlers in the sense that we've been talking about.
right.
We've had a number in our neighborhood alone. We've had folks well past 7 o'clock at 9 or after in the summer times, Sundays for sure. So I can appreciate those guidelines.
Right. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it seems like when one of the cable providers is in town, they'll drop a whole group of high school or college age kids off, and I don't know that they all coordinate who's going to do what, because typically we'll get 3 calls within a matter of an hour or two, or, you know, somebody knocking on the door that you just talked to 30 minutes earlier.
I appreciate that the policy includes the no soliciting signs. I think that's great. It gives the public the ability to communicate that they don't want
Right up
people
front.
approaching their house. And it could be for a litany of reasons. And but it gives them the ability to kind of create that space. And so I'm appreciative for that being in the policy.
The best sign is one of those that says, if you can read this, you're in range.
Others? Questions? Comments? Further discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Booker?
Yes.
Mr. Hopper?
Yes.
Mr. Dumas?
Yes.
Mr. Bettis?
Yes.
Ms. Albert? Yes. Mayor Danner?
Yes. Council, let's move to item 3, which is the second and final reading of ordinance number 6-2024. This is an ordinance amending Chapter 18, Businesses of the City of Greer Code of Ordinances by adding Article 12, Mobile Food Units, Section 18 through 501, and Section 18 through 524 to establish certain rules and regulations for mobile food units. Mr. Seifert?
Again, thank you, Mayor and Council. One smaller change in this one as compared to the last one in Section 18-514, paragraph D. We added the word written, so it reads that the business must obtain written permission to be on the property as opposed to just permission that was previously there.
For the purpose of discussion, I'll entertain a motion to receive.
No motion.
And a second.
Second.
Floor is open for discussion. Questions?
Yeah, I'm just going to ask the same question again about, so again, I received a few phone calls specifically about this one and the concern of the background check. If there are people that are currently on our list that are operating food trucks and they don't meet this current ordinance, do they just get kicked off the list? Or how does that
No, sir,
transpire?
we would implement this on the next renewal cycle, which we're going into right now for business licensing. So it would be in effect for the April 30th renewal of the business licenses.
Are there any other businesses that we regulate to this standard?
Under general business licensing, no, sir. But then if you do get into the sexually oriented businesses, and those have even stricter guidelines than we are presenting here.
So we're providing now the peddlers background check at our expense. Is that right?
There's an application fee for that extra work that we are required to do now.
Okay. Why didn't we do the same thing for this one?
The food trucks in general are restaurants in nature, and they are tied to a commissary that is local. So the thinking and theory behind that is they are local to South Carolina. So the sled check would be sufficient for the food trucks.
Others? Questions? Comments?
Yeah, just based on the feedback that I got, I think this is something I'm just going to kind of monitor and see if it's more than just a few. But appreciate, your time bringing this forward.
Thank you.
Comments? Hearing none, Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Booker?
Yes.
Mr. Hopper?
Yes.
Mr. Dumas?
Yes.
Mr. Bettis?
Yes.
Ms. Albert? Yes. Mayor Danner?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. New business. Item 1, first reading of ordinance number 9-2024. This is an ordinance to change the zoning classification of a certain property owned by J&A Holding Group LLC located at 107 East Bearden Street from CG, Commercial General, to TN, Traditional Neighborhood. Ms. Stahl, information in regards to ordinance number 9-2024.
Yes, this is docket number RZ 23-15. The address is 107 East Bearden Street. The existing zoning is commercial general, and the request is to rezone to traditional neighborhood with the intent of subdividing the parcel and building one single-family unit on the new parcel. Here's the aerial. Here's the current zoning map. The green is suburban neighborhood. The light yellow is medium density residential, and the gold is the downtown entryway overlay. The future land use is traditional neighborhood. Here's a photo of current conditions of the site. Once again, the request is to rezone to traditional neighborhood. The surrounding land uses are predominantly residential. Staff recommends approval, and Planning Commission also recommended approval.
Thank you. By show of hand, is the owner of the property or representative of the owner of the property with us this evening? Are you available to answer questions if we have questions?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, thank you. With that, then, I'll entertain a motion to receive for the purpose of discussion.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Floor is open for discussion.
I noticed in the notes from the Planning Commission that there's an existing dwelling on the parcel and it's going to remain.
Yes, that is.
It is legally non-conforming.
That is the proximity to the side boundary. I believe it's underneath 5 feet.
Okay, so it gets to stay because it's grandfathered or what?
Yes, it's an existing structure.
And this new house, is this going to be built in where that detached space is, the detached garages, or is this going to go between the house and the road?
Yes, there actually is an approved demo permit for that garage, and the new parcel will be at that location. The new single-family unit will be in that location.
Gotcha. Okay.
Others? Comments? Questions? Further discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Booker?
Yes.
Mr. Hopper?
Yes.
Mr. Dumas?
Yes.
Mr. Bettis?
Yes.
Ms. Albert? Yes. Mayor Danner?
Yes. Council, the second item before us this evening is the first reading of ordinance number 10-2024. This is an ordinance to provide for the annexation of a certain property owned by Iglesias Pentecostes Fuente de Agua Villa Incorporated, located on Arlington Road, by 100% petition and to establish a zoning classification of office professional for said property. Ms. Stahl?
Yes, this is docket number AN 2401. The address is, it's located on Arlington Road. The existing zoning is unzoned Spartanburg County, and the request is to annex and zone to office professional with the intent of developing a church. Here's the aerial. Here's the current zoning map. The purple is commercial corridor. The mint is commercial general, and, excuse me, that's incorrect. The mint is suburban neighborhood, and the light green is suburban neighborhood. Oh no, forgive me. The mint is commercial general. That is correct, that small parcel. And the light green is suburban neighborhood. The future land use is suburban commercial. Here's the photo of current conditions. Once again, the request is to annex and zone to office professional. The surrounding land uses are a mix of residential and commercial, and staff recommends approval.
By show of hand, is the owner of the property or representative of the owner of the property here this evening? You willing to speak if we ask you to? Thank you. With that, then, I'll entertain a motion to receive.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Floor is open for discussion. Questions?
Just out of curiosity, it being next to unzoned Spartanburg County, like buffers and things, do those apply to county portions too?
Yes, so with the UDO, we as staff would determine what a similar buffer would be for, so if it's residential to the north, it'll be a type 2, most likely.
Further discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Booker?
Yes.
Mr. Hopper?
Yes.
Mr. Dumas?
Yes.
Mr. Bettis?
Yes.
Ms. Albert?
Yes.
Mayor Danner?
Yes. Council, the third item before us this evening is the first reading of ordinance number 11-2024. This is an ordinance to provide for the annexation of a certain property owned by Samantha T. Bennett located at 145 Fernwood Drive by 100% petition and to establish a zoning classification of SN for said property. Ms. Stahl?
This is docket number AN24-02. The address is 145 Fernwood Drive. The existing zoning is unzoned Spartanburg County, and the request is to annex and zone to suburban neighborhood with the intent to be able to receive city services. Here's the aerial of the parcel. Here's the current zoning map. The surrounding zoning is suburban neighborhood. The future land use is traditional neighborhood. Here's a photo of current conditions. Once again, the request is to annex and zone to suburban neighborhood. The surrounding land uses are residential, and staff recommends approval.
By show of hand, is the owner of the property or representative of the owner of the property with us this evening? You available to answer questions? Thank you. Entertain a motion to receive for the purpose of discussion.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Floor is open for discussion. Is this contiguous by, I missed that part of the map.
Yes, they are completely surrounded by.
Completely.
Why
properties.
is that? Do we know?
I'm not really sure. I don't believe it was part of the very large annexation in the 90s. It was missed over time, I guess. It's a mystery.
It's unusual. I mean, we don't see this
It
much.
is. They were mistakenly receiving city services until recently, which is, so they were compelled to come and annex in.
Welcome to the city of Greer. Others, questions? Comments? Further discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Booker?
Yes.
Mr. Hopper?
Yes.
Mr. Dumas?
Yes.
Mr. Bettis?
Yes.
Ms. Albert?
Yes.
Mayor Danner?
Yes. Council, we're in executive session. That is the end of our regularly scheduled meeting. We have executive session this evening. I'll need a motion that we move to executive session.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we enter into executive session to discuss two contractual matters, one pertaining to Project Titus, the second pertaining to Project Indy, as allowed by state statute, section 30-470A2.
That comes as a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Booker?
Yes.
Mr. Hopper?
Yes.
Mr. Dumas?
Yes.
Mr. Bettis?
Yes.
Ms. Albert?
Yes.
Mayor Danner?
Yes. Council, we're going to adjourn upstairs to the council room for a presentation.